Alrighty, Earl. Yeah, again, just wanted to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome, awesome. So, before we get started, why don't you give everyone watching a quick introduction and let us know a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, my wife and I, we just recently moved to Burlington. We were up in the Ottawa area, and we were one of those people who got seduced by the what we call the myth of the small town.
Oh yeah,
Um, so, for a variety of reasons, we moved to this smaller town outside of Ottawa, and very quickly we realized we're not small town people.
yeah.
So, at any rate, after being there for, I guess, about 2.5 years, we decided to hell with that. And we moved back to Burlington, where we'd lived for probably 25 years. And absolutely thrilled that we did it.
Hmm.
However, the problem was when we moved from Burlington, we moved when the market was really just normal, not much going on. We bought our house in Merrickville. We actually built a house, and so then when we moved back to Burlington, the price of what the homes were was probably, I would say, almost double what we sold it for. 50 to 100, 50% to 100% higher than what we sold it for. So we rented a house, and around that time, of course, there were already rumblings about the market peaking, and with interest rates were going to increase and all, and the market was going to get back to more reasonable levels. So that's in fact what we did. We moved in April back to Burlington with the sort of the strategy that when the market kind of started going the other way, sort of back to normal, or at least a little more reasonable for us, we would hop in and try to buy something.
Hmm.
The reality is Burlington is not, I would say, typical. It seems to be immune to a lot of the market fluctuations. It's very desirable, close to Toronto, and especially the neighborhood we lived in. So buying a house, they were still like $2 million homes. So we kind of
Hmm.
figured the townhomes were the right way to go, primarily because of the price, general average price, and secondly, we have no children. It's just the two of us, so we didn't need 2,500, 3,000 square foot home,
Hmm.
just to clean it and furnish it and all the rest of it. So that's kind of where we were when I happened to be just on Facebook one day, and
Yeah.
I saw the ad for my townhomes. And to be
Hmm.
honest with you, I thought, and I don't know why I thought it because I haven't seen the ad since, but I thought this was about new builds.
Hmm.
And because we've actually, in all the homes we've ever had, we've never bought a resale. We've always bought a brand new home. So anyways, I replied to the ad, and I guess that's where Rocky came into the picture.
Hmm.
And he and I spoke. He called me. Actually, I guess his secretary phoned me, or whomever it was. Somebody phoned me. And then Rocky called me back, and I told him basically what we were looking for, kind of the neighborhoods, pricing and whatnot. So he sent me I believe it was about 14 listings of townhomes, and
Hmm.
one of them appealed to me. I think two of them appealed to me. One of them definitely appealed to me. And so that was on the Saturday, and this all took place very quickly. I think it was Friday I started this, or Thursday or Friday. Saturday I sent him a note and said, "Can we see this one for tomorrow being Sunday?" And he set it up, and so we went in. The house was, as I say, checked off a lot of the boxes of what we were looking for.
Nice.
Uh, Certainly we wanted some green space. We wanted a real nice kitchen. We didn't need a lot of room, but we wanted at least, somewhere between 1,700, 1,800 square feet, 2,000 square feet. So and it was in the right neighborhood, which was very critical as well
Yeah.
for where my wife works out and all the other things. So like I said, it clicked a lot, ticked off a lot of the boxes. And so as it turned out, though, it was an open house that day, and Rocky met us. And so after the listing agent left at 4 o'clock when the open house was over, I just said to Rocky, let's put in an offer. I mean, I know that houses in Burlington go very quickly. And as Rocky pointed out, he says if you put in a conditional offer, that'll basically, block anybody else from coming in for the next 5 days.
Yeah.
And having been in Burlington and basically following the market for 6 months, I knew that homes in that area didn't hang around terribly long, especially if they were nice. Sure, a place that wasn't that desirable, for sure, they'd just be on the market forever, but mostly 3 to 7 days and they were gone. So we put the offer in, and it was conditional on financing, which was my biggest concern because I'm semi-retired. I really don't have much of an income. Well, I don't have a lot of income from part-time job, and really it's all from our RSPs. Based on what I knew, banks really weren't interested in offering mortgages and things like that. And we still needed a fairly sizable mortgage because when we left Merrickville, again, it was a small town home, and the differential between what we got for that home and what we needed for this new place was still significant. So that's why we wanted it conditional on financing. And but Rocky told me, look, I'm pretty sure we can get you what you need. I've got a pretty good guy who works with a lot of different contacts and whatnot. And based on how much you're putting down, shouldn't be a real problem, even though you're semi-retired and don't really have, the kind of income that is typically required to, get a mortgage, in the several hundreds of thousands of dollars. So anyways, and then from there, I'm just trying to think, for whatever reason, memory escapes me right now, but he said, let's drop the conditional financing, because I'm pretty sure that we can get you that loan that you need, the mortgage that you need. And by doing that and not having anything with a home inspection and all the rest of it, should be a done deal. We went in, the price was 1,440. So
Yep.
1,440,000. And I asked him to go in at 1,425, with no conditions, no financing, no nothing. I think Rocky's a pretty good negotiator. My sense is that he normally probably gets what he wants. And I wasn't a part of the negotiations, but at the end of the day, we got 14. Sorry, we went at 1425, yeah, and we ended up at 1440. That's right. So we went up.
And what was the
what
was the home listed
and
at?
they wanted 1,499. So they came down 60, roughly 60. We went up 15, and that's kind of the way it ended up. And so yeah, so we were very happy for a couple weeks. So then of course we signed the deal, and I was kind of stressed out for a while because still didn't have a mortgage.
Yeah.
We put 50 down. So I thought, Jesus, this mortgage doesn't come through, I'm on the hook for 50. I didn't expect the owners to give it back. But Rocky was good to his word, after providing a lot of documents and stuff like that to his guy. Lo and behold, we got a mortgage. What was really kind of funny about that whole thing, though, was the fact that it was with RBC. And the banks, I mean, they're the ones who told me, no, forget it. You're nothing. You're retired. You can't have any money from us. And and like I said, the next thing I know, the guy from RBC is calling me and he was asking me a few questions. And a couple days later, boom, said you're approved. So that's kind of the high level view of kind of what was all going on there. But it all worked out extremely well. And I mean, there was certain parts of the my townhome package, I guess, was kind of intriguing. The whole business about getting a portion of the commission back,
Yeah.
which I'm still not sure what that actually is in actual dollars.
Hmm.
But the fact that he had a guy taking care of the mortgage, not that mortgage people are hard to find. I mean, we actually know two of them personally, friends of my wives, but we're not going to tell them what we did. But and then the fact that he had his wife that would help us with decorating issues was obviously a benefit.
Yeah.
Uh, he had a lawyer, which I mean, we didn't have a lawyer. I called his guy, and I must say he was very impressive. I think he's a young guy, but really was very, he just exuded confidence in dealing with him.
Yeah.
So, that one-stop shop was kind of interesting. There's some of the aspects of that we don't need, like the free boxes as an example. Because we were renting we were hopefully at one point going to buy a new place. I think we only unpacked maybe 25% of what we moved. So it's
Yeah.
still sitting in boxes downstairs. So we didn't need that piece. Although it did prove that we have far more things that we ever needed, since we never unpacked them. And what else? I guess those were the main things that I can remember at this point. But like I said, having all of that available and not that I didn't have to go find a lawyer in Burlington. I know there's tons of them, but how do you know he's a good one and all the
Yeah.
rest of it? So and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it's part of the deal, the
Mm.
legal fees.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm semi-retired, and it's probably $1,500, and $1,500 is probably going to pay for a fair amount of the painting that we want to do before we move.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, that was good. And yeah, so anyway, so
Awesome.
that's kind of the long and short of it, how I found you and what seemed to be of interest and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, yeah, thanks for giving the rundown on the whole process, Earl. That's amazing. And what did you find that Rocky and My Townhome did differently that you found created a difference throughout the whole process?
Right. Well, I guess like I said, the fact that I really had one point of contact.
Hmm.
Um, Although I did speak to the mortgage guy, obviously I had to give him information, and I just thank God that I know how to download files and send files and all these other things, because
Yeah.
it's unbelievable what they ask you for. But like I said, having one point of contact, knowing that I didn't have to find anybody additional. Rocky was, like I say, he made sure that whatever it was that I was concerned about, that he dealt with it and answered the questions. And
Hmm.
so if I needed, I'd call him a couple times and say, hey, the mortgage guy wants the actual sales document. So can you fire that off to him? And sure. So he'd do that, things of that nature. And obviously, in his case, I mean, I don't know if we have had somebody else, if they would have had would have been as adept at negotiating. Rocky came to me when we went to do our first visit about a
Yeah.
week after we did the deal. And he says to me, I've got some good news for you. And I said, oh yeah, what's the good news? And he said, well, as it turned out, the listing agent screwed up and they forgot to mention that the furnace and the AC were leased. and the buyout was like 18 grand.
Yeah.
And so anyways, obviously the listing agent went to Rocky and said, oops, we screwed up. And Rocky basically told him, yes, well, it's not my problem. And he didn't even call me, didn't even say, can you kick in something, or take over one of them or whatever. He didn't even bother asking me. He just dealt with it himself. And I'm sure he's hated now by the listing agent, but I think he's got thick skin, so I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah.
But so that really worked out. So essentially that's another, call it 18,000 in addition to, what we in our pockets that we
Yeah.
didn't have to spend. So, they may have ended up with 14,500, or 14,450 or something like that. So, like I say, his negotiating skills were clearly a benefit. And then on that visit, his wife came, and she was part of the designer package. And so she brought her paint chips and she and my wife went through the house and said, yeah, this has to be done. This has to be done, which with these colors and so on and so forth. So, actually, almost within a week of, the original offer, we were in there, we had done the deal, we knew what we were going to do with regards to painting. Rocky suggested that we needed some pot lights in another area. He's provided a painter to give us a quote. We haven't got it yet, but I'm sure we'll have that shortly. So like I say, a lot of the little things that can tie you up and just give you a lot of extra work was all basically taken care of. So it was an interesting concept. And to be honest with you, I didn't realize that My Townhomes was, I thought that was Rocky's company. I didn't know that it was part of a national organization.
Hmm.
And I thought, I've been in business for a while, and I thought, that's a brilliant concept, because I know that if you normally list a house, the listing agent gets half the commission, or the listing company gets half, the selling company gets half, and then that is then split between the two agents. So I thought, well, that's kind of brilliant. So they don't have to pay Remax. So, you're getting 50% of the commission. And so you're not keeping it all. You're using it to offer a variety of services and benefits.
Yep.
And I'd never heard of it, never come across it. And so I think it's a brilliant concept and I probably am not alone in having no idea that this even exists. I don't know if it exists for homes, but obviously it does for townhomes. And so really worked to our advantage, you know.
Amazing, amazing. And I appreciate you sharing that, Earl. And what would you say to recommend Rocky in My Townhome and tell anyone looking to purchase or sell their townhome in the GTA?
I tell them that you do exactly what you say you're going to do. I mean, at the end of the day, like I say, if you're normally buying a house, um, you're going to hope that the agent's, going to cover all the bases. They're not going to miss anything, and that they're, going to negotiate and advise you accordingly to your benefit.
Yeah,
Um, what you what you get in addition to that, though, is the fact that they offer a lot of services that can save you. I mean, I don't know at the end of the day what it's all going to end up saving me. Certainly I will calculate that because I love doing spreadsheets, but I will calculate that when it's all said and done. But I'm pretty sure that we are going to be, several $1,000s ahead of the game,
yeah,
because I did this. And just as a sidebar, I will tell you that when we moved to Burlington, obviously we had to get in touch with an agent to get in to see the rental properties we were interested in. And with when I started all of this with Rocky, like I say, we're in the house now. The open house is over, and it never even occurred to me that I probably should have said to Rocky, I've already got an agent that I've been working with. But
Hmm.
I guess kind of wasn't even thinking of that. And it almost was a blessing, because had I thought of that, then Rocky would have been out of the picture, and I would not have been able to avail myself of all your the things that you are obviously doing for us and going to be doing for us. So I would say that if I was talking to a friend of mine, I would just say, just be prepared. If you've got somebody that you are already working with, you're going to have the guts to say, I'm going to stick with these guys, as opposed to going with your friend, or whoever that other real estate agent person would be, because then it becomes a transitional or a traditional transaction, which
Yeah.
is where this is far better,
No,
at the end of the day.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing, Earl. And I'm glad it all worked out for
Yeah.
you in the end. So yeah, I just want to say I really, really want to thank you for taking the time to tell your story and
Mhm.
share your experience. We
Right.
truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up the call, do you have any final thoughts?
Um, Not really. I mean, so far everything is as advertised, and I'm assuming that will continue to be that way. At first I kind of didn't believe it. A lot of companies say a lot of things, and but so far, like I said, everything is all those little points that were on the ad, as far as having the resources, the free design consulting, all those things. So
Yeah.
far, he's delivered, and I mean, I'll be candid with you, I'll be very intrigued to see what kind of uh, you know, I guess rebate or whatever you want to call it, we're going to get at the end of the day on the commission. So
Of course.
that'll be kind of interesting to see. But no, I mean, if a friend of mine were to say, we're looking for a townhome in Burlington or wherever it is, I would say you really should check these guys out, because I think you'll be happy with it. So, I mean, I mean, these are just my observations. So I don't know if other people you deal with have the same observations, or if I have a unique perspective, or whatever, but that's what I would say.
Well, I appreciate that, and we appreciate that dearly, Earl. And
Yeah.
thanks again for taking the
Okay.
time. Enjoy the rest of your time out there and
Sure.
on your vacation. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be in touch as things continue to move forward here.
Okay. Very good, Mason. All right.
All right, have a good one.
Yep.
Bye
Pleasure
now.
chatting with you. Take care. Okay.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
pleasure is mine. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.